Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, y'all. Another opportunity to either make money in the market or to just learn from the market, right? So let me go ahead and give my disclaimer, y'all. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. With that being said, y'all, let's get started. So we are looking at the VIX, and as you can see, we are trying to bounce off of this 5 EMA back to the upside, and we had support here at 1236. It actually bounced from this level. Now our trouble places here at this 5 at the 20 EMA, yes, at 1238, and then we're going to have trouble here again at 1240. So if we break this 1240 area, which it looks like it's trying, right? So that means we're going to have trouble at 1244 and again at 1249. Now above this 1249, we're right at the 50 EMA at 1254 and a previous support area of 1254 right at that area. So that's kind of like a double, resistance level for us, right? So above this 1254, just know that it wouldn't surprise me to see it come back and retest this 1262, which is right at this ATR trailing stop. So right now the gathering spot for the VIX, let's see, is pre-market support at 1227, and I would say resistance is around 1233, because as you can see, price stayed in this area. I'm gonna try to get that off. Price stayed in that area, and then it started moving past this place. So I would definitely watch this level here, because if we get rejected, this is probably where we're going to come back to. Just know that pre-market, well, yesterday's low was at 1221, so that was interesting to see. And I always go to the VIX, y'all, just to see, kind of give me an idea of how the SPY is moving, right? So we are breaking above that. Again, that 1240 is where we need to watch for the VIX to the upside. A break above that can send us up, which will in turn send the SPY to the downside. So let's go to the SPY just to see where we are. And I know SPY is a little congested on this chart, y'all, but I'm working on clearing that up, okay? So right now, the SPY closed at 546.37, which is interesting that we have a pre-market high of 548.57, which, as you can see, I already had an alert set there. So that was a high from yesterday, or a resistance area from yesterday. So I would say the SPY looks as if, it could very well come back to the downside. So I'm going to see where we are now. As of now, we're finding support at the 548.21. As you can see, price is just right there in this area. And we've been trading in this area for, a while. And if it breaks above this 548.47, just know we're going to have trouble at 548.81 and again at 549.16. Above 549.16, we could very well come back and retest the 549.91 and again the 550.03. Now, it looks as if we're trying to break out of this area here, and it wouldn't surprise me to see it come back to the downside, considering we're already up pre-market, right? So to the downside, where are our trouble places? If we break under the support that we have now, under the 548.21, we have support here at 548.10 and again at 547.98. Now, it wouldn't surprise me, if we break under this 547.98 to come back down to the 547.61 area, and a break below that puts us, back at the ATR trailing stop and the 50 EMA, again, under the 547.61, we can come back and retest the 547.14. Let me say it that way, right? So again, all of these gray shaded areas are previous support and or resistance areas for the SPY. So those could be hiccups along the way. So the major places that I would definitely pay attention to is the 546.55 if we break under the 547.14. And if we break under the 546.55, I would definitely watch the 546.23, as that has been strong support for the SPY. Below the 546.23, we can come back and retest the 545.97. So those are trouble places to the upside and to the downside is what I like to say, trouble places. In other words, support and resistance for the SPY. We'll come back to the SPY and do a recap. Now, Tesla is, and I always say this, Tesla is Tesla. Now, it closed at 197.42, and pre-market high, we're already here at 199.70. So we are up pre-market, right? So is Tesla going to continue climbing, or are we going to sell off, right? That's something to be mindful of. Just know where are our trouble places. If Tesla continues, we could look, we can just keep moving. Just know that it moves $7 and I think 40 some cents per day. Let's go. $7.44 per day, and we can move in that direction, up or down, right? So where are trouble places to the downside for Tesla? If we break under the 5 EMA, where we're finding support now under the 199.18 area, just know that, we could come back to the 198.87. Under that, we can come down to the 20 EMA at 198.06 or previous support area 197.75. So I would say our pre-market support is here in this range, the 198.38 and the 198.87. Price actually stayed in this area for a while with Tesla, so I would definitely watch this area here. So if we break below, come back down and break below, which is right above the 20 EMA, we can come back to this ATR trail and stop to the 197.27. So trouble places for the Tesla, let me restate that. The trouble places for the Tesla as of now is 198.87, 197.75, 198.05, 197 or 27, which is at this ATR trail and stop, and the 50 EMA at 196.14. It wouldn't surprise me to see Tesla back in this gathering spot area here, which is at the 195.23 down to the 194.56. So because we're at this 199 area again, it wouldn't surprise me to see it come all the way back down to this area. And I always say, y'all, trade carefully, because Tesla is Tesla. It does what it does and it moves how it moves, right? And we've had a nice little up this week. So again, it wouldn't surprise me to see it come back to the downside just for a little breather and then bounce back to the upside. So let's go to AMD. AMD is trading in a gathering spot for us today, and 160.07 is what I would use as pre-market support, and our resistance was at, let's see, right here at the 160.24. So 160.24 to 160.07 is a gathering spot for us. We've been in this area before. Now AMD is under the 5 EMA. We could very well come down and retest the 159.87 and then this 159.74. Below the 159.74 area, we have support here at 159.52. Below that, we're going to have trouble, and when I say trouble, I mean support. We're going to have support at 159.26, which is right here at this 200 EMA, and the 159.18 or 16 area. So that's kind of like a double support area. I would definitely watch it under this area. We could very well come back and retest the 159.07. So my alert is going to be under the around the 158.96 area, because if we break this level, that means we've broken through a level of support and we can continue to the downside. Now, can we bounce back to the upside? We can, right? So to the upside, if by chance we come back above this 160.24, just know that 160.39, 160.58, 160.74, and 161.02, those are going to be trouble places to the upside for AMD. And just keep in mind, AMD normally moves $5.39 per day, and that's on average, right? So that's the ATR, the average true range of the stock, and that could very well fluctuate. I need to, because sometimes when we look at it, it's one price, and then when we look at it again, it's another price. That price fluctuates, let's say that. So again, AMD to the upside and to the downside. Right now, it looks as if it's trying to break out of the gathering spot to the downside. Again, I would definitely watch those levels. My alert is set under 158.97, and the ATR trail is below this 50 EMA, the 159.07. We have the ATR trail and stop is all the way at 158.46. So AMD could very well come back down to this area, and that is the 158.50 down to the 158.23. This was a gathering spot for us, and that's right where the ATR trailing stop is. So again, it can come back to this level. I always say y'all trade carefully and do not rush into your trades. Allow your chart to lead you and pay attention. When it's time to get out, get out. So we're looking at NVDA. NVDA is an inside day candle. I'll give the trigger for that first. If it breaks above 126.45, then the upside target is 128.25. If it breaks under 122.91, just know the downside target is 122.57. NVDA is trading in a gathering spot. It is kind of have those moving averages bunched up, but if you can look, it's between this gray line and this gray line, which was previously a support and resistance area for us, or I would like to say a gathering spot, right? Because that's where most of the candles are gathered together. So our pre-market support, we can mark here, I would say the 124.57 area, 124.57, and our resistance is here at the 124.87. Even though we came up to this here, it looks like it was trying to break out and got rejected. So I would watch NVIDIA. It's resting on the 5 EMA, the 124.85. If we break that, we could very well come back down to the 124.60. Under 124.60, which is right, there's a lot of support in this area. If we break that, we could very well retest the 124.41. Below the 124.41 can come bring us back to this level of 123.96. Below the 123.96, we could very well come back down to the 123.44 or the 122.91. So I would watch those levels to the upside or to the downside for NVIDIA. Now, can it go back to the upside? It very well can. So it would definitely need to break above 125.20. So I'm going to set my alert above this level. If it breaks above 125.20, just know that we are going to have trouble at the 125.58. And again, at this 126.45, which brings us really close to the ATR trailing stop at the 126.64. So those are trouble places for NVIDIA to the upside and to the downside. Now the ATR is $5.89. It normally moves $5.89. And again, that could be in either direction. And right now we're just trading in a zone, right? In this gathering spot. So I would definitely watch those places and set my alerts. And once it break above or below, that's when I will make sure I have confirmation as to, entering the trade, right? So always be careful. I say that often, trade carefully and trade what you see. So we do have some inside day candles, and let's see. Mara was an inside day candle. It is. So if it breaks above $20.25 and $20.29 is the target, and as you can see, it's trying to climb right now. Below, if it breaks to the downside below $19.26, we have $19 as the target, and it wouldn't surprise me to see it move in either direction, right? So this will be interesting to watch today. We've been trading kind of like in this zone for a while here. We kind of tried to break out here. It is above the 5 EMA. So our trouble places as of now, we're going to just use the moving averages. 1995 is support, which is the 5 EMA. Below that brings us back to 1983, and again below that brings us to 1970, and then from 1970 to 1956. So I would definitely watch those areas to the downside. Now to the upside, this ATR trailing stop is at $20.20. So I would definitely watch those places. If I traded Mara, let's see how much Mara normally moves on a daily basis. $1.50, and that could be in either direction. So if you trade Mara, I always say, y'all, trade carefully. Do not rush into those trades. So up UPS. UPS is also an inside day candle for today. So I'll give the trigger to that. If it breaks above 138.05, then 138.95 is the target. Now to the upside, to the downside, if it breaks under 135.15, then 135.05 is the downside target. And as you can see, it's not really moving pre-market. So I would definitely say I would watch. If you trade UPS, just know that those are the triggers to the upside and to the downside. And it normally moves $2.89 per day, again, in either direction. So if you trade UPS, I would say y'all trade carefully. Walmart is another inside day candle. If Walmart breaks above $68.59, and $68.61 is the target. Interesting, right? Now, if it breaks under $67.66. Then the target is $67.61. And how much does Walmart normally move on a daily basis? $1.11. Again, in either direction. So it is moving pre-market sideways. So I would definitely watch the 67.93, or the 68.09 area. That right now that's our pre-market support and or resistance, right? So let's go back to the SPY just for a quick recap, just to see where we are with the SPY. And again, that 548.44 is a trouble place for us. You see, we try to break past that and we're having trouble in that area. So I would definitely watch the SPY today. Again, that 548.44 and as resistance and support as 548.21. Again, it would not surprise me to see it back in this 544 range, because as you can see, we came here for a while. I'm going to go see maybe if I can look at it on a higher time frame. This is the 1 hour chart, and SPY has been moving to the upside, right? So this was what date? 6/26. SPY has been moving to the upside above the 5 EMA. Yes, we did have some places, but it came down and it bounced. So that 544.87 was a strong support area. That's one of the things I wanted to point out. 544.87, price came 1, 2, 3, and we bounced to that. So I would definitely watch that 544.87. Again, it would not surprise me to see us come back to that 544.87. So yeah, y'all, I hope these videos again are very, very helpful. This is just when I look at the market, this is what I see. And yeah, I hope that everyone have a very productive, a very profitable day today. And y'all know I always like to leave you with this: be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.